Hello, and great evening to see all of you again here on sunlightradio.com. My name is Akwesi Opong, and we are so happy to reach you all again on this Thursday evening. Another episode of our show, Couples Date Night. We hope that you all had a great week, a very important week. Those of you who live in North America, where we had a peaceful transfer to a new president, I think it's worth saying. We are so happy and glad that you've made some time in your day to join us today. We have something very interesting to discuss today. Get your friends together, call some loved ones to tune in. I'm sure this will be a great blessing to all of you. We are looking forward to spending some time together, and as I always say, we do have a text number. You can send us text message only, and it's 240-772-1420. We are also archiving all these shows on our website, which is enjoylifewithyourspouse.com. We are so happy that you've made time in your day to be with us. We will be right back. Thanks again for joining us. Again, this is Akwesi Opong coming to you live on Sunlight Radio. We hope that you will tune in not only on Thursday evenings, but you will enjoy some of the other shows we have on sunlightradio.com. We are very, very glad that you've made time to join us. We are praying for your marriages, your families, your children, and we're hoping that you are in so many ways being encouraged by the lessons we share here on our show. And just like every Thursday, we have something new for you to think about today. Send us your questions, your comments. If you would like to contribute to our discussion today, you are welcome to do so. Send us a text at our number 240-772-1420. Once again, thank you for joining us, and we are going to jump into our discussion for today. So today, what we have lined up to discuss today, it's a very interesting title I gave our discussion today, and the discussion or the topic is the state of your union. As most of you in North America know, this week we had a transition to a new president and a new government. And one of the things that presidents do once or a few times every year is something we call the State of the Union Address. And we're picking from that idea to call today's discussion the State of Your Union. So not of the union, but your union. And in this context, union is your marriage. So we're going to talk about the state of your union. And this was very exciting when I started, preparing and praying and researching on this topic. So when we talk about the State of the Union Address, which is given by the President of the United States, it's an annual message which is delivered by the President to the joint session of the United States Congress. And as you know, the Congress is made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives. So the joint session is what brings both of the two chambers together. And it's done usually at the beginning of each calendar year. And it's a way the President lays out the economic report of the nation, and also allows the President to propose his legislation, his agenda, and some of his priorities for the country. So this event happens. I personally enjoy watching it. When usually you watch it, it's interesting to see how, the various party affiliations stand to applaud at proposals that favor them. It's quite humorous to watch that. But aside that, it's a very important speech or important event, because the president is able to lay down a direction as to where the country is going, or the progress that has been made, or we're able to know the agenda, or how the economic report, how well financially the country is doing. And once this is done, it really gives confidence to the people in government, and also the citizens in the country are able to breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that our country is going in the right direction. And it gives hope, it gives assurance, and it builds confidence. So what we are focusing on today is applying this same principle to find out what is the state of your union, which is your marriage. When we say that the state of your union, the union is your marriage. The union in the state of the union address is the union of the 50 states. And as you all know, each state is autonomous, it's on its own, but there are rules that binds all the states together. So in that same way, you are an individual. Your wife is also an individual, or your husband is also an individual. What is the state of your union? Do you know where your marriage is? Do you know the state? Do you know what is really going on in your relationship? Can you answer that question if someone poses that to you today? So that's what I want us to think about today, and I've put together some resources that's going to help us determine where or what the state of our union or the state of our marriage is today. As we just began a new year, and as the State of the Union address is given at the beginning of a calendar year, this is a good time for you to ask yourself, what is the state of my union with my spouse? Where are we going? Where are our goals? Where are our objectives? Do I even know? Most too often when there's conflict in relationship, and the woman calls marriage counselor and says that I don't want to stay in this marriage anymore, and the husband is like, what are you talking about? I didn't know you were unhappy. That is why you need to know the state of your union. What is really going on in my relationship? So I took this resource from two places. One is a resource by ourpeacefulmarriage.com. It's an online resource that provides resources for families and marriages. And this was written by Marcus and Ashley. And this talks about marriage checkup, how to have a checkup and a check-in with your spouse. So this allows you to check in with your spouse and do a whole checkup of your entire marriage, just like the State of the Union address or the State of the Union event, which is held by the U.S. Joint Session of the House and also Congress. So we're going to dive deep into it, but I do have a scriptural reference, and that is Proverbs 19:20. It says, listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end you will be counted among the wise. Listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end you will be counted among the wise. Just like the United States have this event called the State of the Union, where they listen to advice and they accept discipline in terms of changes that have to be done. They are counted among the wise because the country keeps progressing, even in the midst of challenges and disease and, all the things that we hear in the news, it still keeps the country moving in the right direction. So we have to also apply some of these same principles if we want to move in the right direction. If we want to be counted as wise, we have to do a checkup and a check-in with our spouse to know the state of our union, the state of our marriage. So why a marriage checkup is essential to your marriage, or why knowing the state of your marriage is very important. Marriage checkup can help you and your spouse to resolve issues while they are minor. A lot of the big issues we have in our marriages, they begin as a very small issue. And when nothing is done, nobody talks about it, we sweep it under the rug. As time goes on, it becomes a big issue. So doing a checking in or doing that, sitting down to come up with a way of doing a checkup on your marriage will help you address that very, very early before it becomes a bigger issue. On the same page, we can get to know our spouse better. That's the great part of this. When you do this check-in, you learn things about your spouse that you did not even know. At the very least, you will know where you both are in terms of your finances, your emotions, your spiritual growth, your physical, sexual satisfaction, and intellectual state. All these are very important aspects of you as a person that applies to your relationship. And having some time to really get into the details will help you, as the Bible says, be counted as wise. So let's move right along. So usually in the early years of our marriage, we've had a marriage checkup at least. You probably have it a number of times because, the excitement of the honeymoon is still there and you always want to know how each other is doing. But, after setting up, and growing up through various events like, children and various things that come in our way, it's important that we make this a priority, that every month, at least once a month, as a couple, you sit down and do a state of the union, event among the two of you. This will increase as time goes on. You can increase the frequency based on what you think is going on, and it will help you discover the root causes of some of your personal issues and also your marriage issues, thereby helping you to resolve them while they're still very small. So this is what the essentials, why it's important to have a marriage checkup or to know the state of your union, the state of your marriage. So moving right along, what are the benefits of doing this? There's got to be some benefits of wanting to know the state of your marriage or the state of your union. It helps. There's so many benefits to it. It brings the two of you closer together as a couple in more ways than one. Discovering more about each other as you talk through all the issues that affect you. Our busy lives with children and work and dealing with family issues, sometimes we might have things on our mind we are not able to communicate. And if we make time to have these sessions where we sit down to talk about things on our mind, our challenges and our struggles, it brings us closer together. Another benefit is it helps us to find ways, a great way to communicate with each other in words. It teaches us how to communicate with our spouse. As we all know, communication is the biggest challenge most marriages have. If you list all the challenges in marriages, communication is always at the top. We don't know how to talk well, or we don't communicate very well what we're feeling or what we're thinking, and the listening party also doesn't listen very well. Sometimes you can say one thing and the other person hears a different thing. The there's an activity I had years ago when I was a teenager, where we all sat in a big circle, about 15 of us, and the instructor whispered something in one person's ear and said, Kofi has a dog. And the goal was to whisper it in the next person's ear, keep whispering it through till we went through the entire circle, so that everybody had a turn. The statement, Kofi has a dog, by the time it was over, had turned to Elizabeth nose is like a dog, something very absurd like that. That tells you that what he said and what was heard is totally different. And events like this, when we sit down to have, a check-in, allows us to really resolve issues and really make sure that we're opening doors of communication. And it helps us to really talk very well. We're relaxed. We are able to articulate our feelings very well. And the listening person can also fully understand what we are going through. It also helps you to walk through insecurities. You learn your strengths and weaknesses. We all have some level of insecurity and weaknesses. That is a great opportunity to communicate them to your spouse. In addition, it encourages honesty and transparency as well in your marriage. It gives you a safe and open space for both of you to give and receive critiques, so that you can say, can I tell you something that if you change or if you do can really help me become a better husband? And you present things that you want to say that you've not been able to talk about. And one rule that Gary Chapman talks about is that every two positive things you say, you can give one critique. You can criticize your spouse on one other thing. So if there's something on your mind you want to say that you don't like, make sure you find two things that you like before you talk about them. Yes. So moving right along, it gives you the space to open up. Both of you, okay, we've talked about that. So the next one is it keeps you on track with your marriage and family and life goals. A lot of us know the stock market. We know our investments. We know what is trading in the Japanese stock exchange, but we don't even know what is going on in our own home. It's sometimes sad to know that somebody's wife might be hurting, in going through emotional pain, and he doesn't even know, because he's so much consumed with the day-to-day things and working hard to earn a living. We have to focus on what is important in making sure that we are doing these checkups with each other. It also creates happiness when both spouses feel they are heard and seen. Sorry, let me take that again. It creates happiness when both spouses feel they are heard and see each other more, making the effort to create a better life. So when I feel that my wife hears me and my wife feels that I hear her, it makes us more happy, because there's nothing great than feeling heard. When you feel that people hear you, they understand you, it really communicates a great feeling about ourselves. It also holds each other accountable. Accountability is very important here. Who better to do this than the person you know and you call your best friend? So accountability is another great thing that making this time to really know the state of your relationship can help both of you be accountable and also get to know each other better. Again, my name is Akwesi Opon. This is Sunlight Radio Online. We are talking about the state of your union, and you are welcome to join us. You can send us a text. Our number is 240-772-1420. I will be right back.
Anywhere
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us again today. We are live today talking about the state of your union. And we are so happy that you've made time in your day to join us to really understand this idea of making time to do a checking in with your spouse to know the state of your marriage. And we are so glad we have two of our listeners who have chimed in, and we are going to dive in and read what they are sharing with us. So our first contributor said, thank you for reminding us to be emotionally present in our marriage. So many times, so many things pull at us, and we need to fight for our marriage, set that boundary, and give each other time. This is from Connie. Thank you so much for sending that message. We are so grateful. It's important that we set those boundaries to make sure that nothing takes away from our relationships, because they're very, very important to us. So thank you so much for your contribution. Keep them coming. We will love to know what you think, or if you have a question or contribution. The number to text is 240-772-1420. So moving right along, as you know, we're talking about how to do this checking in with your spouse to help build your relationship and know the state of your marriage. And we've talked about a number of things that we can do, or the benefits of doing this, these check-ins, to help you really ensure that, you know, the little fires that are starting can be put out before they become something big that can turn into a huge conflict in our relationship. So marriage check-in is a great way to communicate with your spouse. I can't say this enough. Communication is a key part of every relationship. I just shared a story about, when I was a teenager and we were in this circle, and it tells you what the role of communication. There's also another story that I like sharing with couples where, a husband and wife live in one house, and the husband goes to the bedroom, they're going out, they're getting ready, goes to the closet, stands there for a few seconds and goes, honey, I have nothing to wear. What is he saying? What he's saying is the clothes are dirty, they have to be washed. So he finds something, he puts it on, walks out, his wife comes right before him, walks into that same closet, stands for a few minutes, a few seconds and goes, honey, I have nothing to wear. What's she saying? We have to go shopping. They both said the same thing, but it means totally different things. I'm not saying it happens in every instance, but the things we say could mean something totally different. And that's where we need to make the right investments to have these check-ins to ensure that we are communicating very well with our spouses. Because if we don't invest in our communication, things really fall apart. We walk around thinking something that's not true. We walk around assuming things based on a facial expression or something that you didn't quite hear very well. And our entire relationship will be based on assumptions. So making this time together as a couple to sit down and have this check-in to know the state of your marriage will help you unravel all these issues. Whether you're newly married or even a long-time married couple, communication is key to your marriage and also with each other. And it's something that we all have to do continually and learn how to practice, how to communicate better. And the best way to do it is not when there's conflict, but you have to learn how to communicate now. And one way of doing it again is having a checking in, to sit down, make that time to really talk about issues. And when we talk about checking in, it's not so much of a date night. You could make it into a date night, but this is not so much of a date night. This is like a business meeting for your marriage, just like the State of the Union address. As you see there, when they meet in the joint session, in Congress, they don't have steak and and pasta and all kinds of dishes in front of them. It's a business meeting almost that helps move the affairs of the country forward. In the same way, treat this as one of the vital things that you do to really sustain your marriage. Checking in with each other is very, very important. A marriage checkup presents us with an opportunity to do just that. So simply because you are open-minded and honest with each other doesn't mean that there will not be issues. We have to make sure that we make time to really get into the details of things that will help grow us. You have to be willing to listen, to show empathy, to your husband or to your wife, so that you can accept their sincere criticisms, and also because your spouse has the best of your intentions, whatever they say that you need to correct or change during this checking in is something that you have to have an open heart and an open mind to listen and start taking the steps to change, because this will give us that opportunity to really grow and really be able to connect with each other on a level that we cannot do it in any other way. So it's very important that we invest in this time to build our relationship, to connect with each other, and also be able to know the state of our union, which is our marriage. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Akwesi Opong. This is Sunlight Radio. We are happy that you made some time to be with us. We will be right back.